Okay, everyone, welcome to the next series of tutorials. What we're going to do is, or it lines up with what you need to do as part of your assignment, which is design a piece of furniture that you have in your house. Or I suppose don't design it, but recreate a piece of furniture in Google SketchUp that you have in your home. And what it's going to take is you choosing the piece of furniture, measuring it using a tape measure, figuring out all the critical dimensions of each particular piece, drawing out your dimensions on a sheet of paper, like I'm going to show you, and then using that sheet of paper with all your sizes and dimensions to uh, create a 3D model of that piece of furniture. So the piece of furniture that I'm going to be working with here is this TV stand that you see in front of you. Okay, so I'm going to be working with this TV stand, and just to show you the dimensions that I made, I measured some of the critical dimensions, and I did a top view, a front view, and a right view. Okay, because within those three views, I encompassed all the views that I need to get all the critical dimensions. Okay, I have drawn this piece before. Okay, and here's what it will look like. So I chose a different color than what the actual image was, simply because the black wasn't showing up well in Google SketchUp, so I just chose, just a typical wood color there. Okay, so I'm going to take you through in a three-part tutorial how to recreate this dresser. And you're going to take what you learned from my videos and apply it to your piece of furniture that you're going to choose in your home. All right, so let's get into SketchUp. And I'm actually going to close this here, make life a little bit easier for me. And I want to have this open because this is what's going to have my dimensions. So I do want to have this open, and I want to be able to toggle between my Google SketchUp 3D modeling space and this drawing here. Okay, so with any 3D modeling task, the difficult part is where to start. That's the question that I often get from students. Once they get going, or once you get going, you find that you can design things pretty well, but the difficult part is like, where on earth do I start? And one of the things, especially with furniture, where I like to start is kind of on the perimeter of things. What is the overall size of what I'm working with, and what items make up that overall size, and that's kind of where I like to start. Like, what's the main structure? I want to draw the main structure first, and then from there I can add things on the top, bottom. I could add doors and whatnot. And if I'm looking at this drawing, the main structure is actually kind of the shelving frame. So like the side panels, this shelf that goes across here. There's also a little shelf there. So I'm going to start with that, and that's what this first video is going to show. All right, is that frame? Okay, and I'm not going to worry about this top piece here or these aesthetic pieces along here or on the bottom. I'm just going to worry about the main kind of structure, the main frame of everything, and start there. So I think a good place to start is the side panels here. So drawing a side panel here and a side panel here. You're going to have to follow me a little bit because if I look at, I'm going to, because I have the actual piece of furniture in my house, I know exactly, I can like look inside it, and I know exactly, how it's been built and how it's been made. And so, you're not going to be able to tell that just from my 2D drawings here, okay? But you'll have to just trust me that I know, looking at my TV stand, that I know how it's built. Now, that being said, this is kind of an introductory task. I am not going to go over, I'm not going to put any screw holes in or really go over exactly how this is going to be put together. Although I'll get pretty close to that without the screw holes and maybe a few other a few other things that I would add if I was actually building it. I'm not going to worry about that here. This is an introductory video. I just want to show you how to recreate what you see based on, everything you can look at this TV stand. And like I said, in the picture doesn't do it justice. I'm able to open the doors here and look inside and see exactly what it's made from, right? So I'm going to start with the side panels. And so here are the side panels. So here's a side panel, and then this piece here that you see right there, that skinny piece that's 3/4 inch thick, that's actually what's showing right there. That's that piece. But the side panel itself, okay, is a little bit different. So the side panel itself is 15 inches wide. And now the question is, how tall do I draw it, right? How tall do I model it? So it's showing 25.5 inches here. But what I'm actually going to do is, and you can just take my advice for it because I am able to actually see how it is built. I'm going to do 25.5, but I'm also going to draw it 2 inches down. So I'm actually going to carry it down to the ground. So 2 inches. So 25.5 plus 2 inches is 27.5. And I'm actually going to carry that side panel all the way up to this point right here. So I'm going to do 2 inches plus 25.5, which is 27.5, plus another 1.25, right, which is 28.75 inches. That's what I'm going to draw it at, okay, 28.75. And then how far apart will they be? Well, we'll get to that in a second because I'm going to draw the other side panel here as well. So let's go into SketchUp. Okay. And let's draw on this side plane here. So I'm going to do a rectangle, and I'll start right at the point of origin. Okay. And if I want to snap to my, my right view there, I'm just going to hit the right arrow key, okay, to snap to that. Okay. Finish drawing your rectangle of whatever size you want. Okay. And now I'm going to type in that I want it to be, so you can see in the bottom right corner here, it's showing a 4x7 foot. I want this to be, if 4 is the smaller size here, that must be the width. Okay, so the width is 15 inches, comma, 28.75. Now notice I didn't put the inch symbol, because if I don't put the inch symbol, Google SketchUp recognizes that I am in fact in inches. I don't have to put the inches symbol. So I'm just going to zoom in there, okay? And let's go back to my drawing and take a look at how thick, or I can tell you how thick, that's not in my 2D views, okay? But the thickness of that side panel is going to be 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to hit push pull. I'm going to pull that out and then type 0.75. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do, now I want to copy this over. I don't want to draw this again from scratch. I want to copy it over. So the way you do that is I'm going to triple click this 3D object I've drawn. Triple click, so I select it all. And I'm going to right click and go to make component. Okay, and I'm going to call this my side panel. Okay, so now I have to figure out, so now it's a component. I can easily copy it over, and whatever changes I make to one, it'll make to the other, which is good. That's what I want, in case I do need to make any size changes. So how far over do I need to bring that? Okay, so if I grab this corner here, it looks like all the way to this corner is 51.5 inches away. 51.5 inches away, but we have a bit of a problem, okay? I can't move that because I'm going to move it from, let's say, this corner, and then this corner is going to become this corner here. So what I actually need to do is take, so it's not going to be this corner, right? Like when I move this, it's going to become the inside. It was on the outside here, but it's going to become the inside over here. So I actually have to subtract 0.75, which is the thickness of this piece of wood that I've drawn. Okay, 0.75. So 51.5 minus 0.75 is 50.75. So I'm going to come here. Okay, and I'm going to hit M for move, or the move tool over here. And I'll grab this outside corner. But before I do that, I want to make a copy So on my Mac, I press Alt-Option, or you press Control on your PC, and you're going to click and just start sliding it over. Make sure it's straight so it's on the proper axis, and then just type how far away you want it to be. So I said it should be 50.75. Okay, so there you have it. And you can double check. If I hit the dimension button, so in the tape measure tool, I hit dimension, I can double check just in case, make sure that I am in fact 51.5 away. Okay, so that's in feet and inches. So 4 feet is 48 inches, plus 3.5 is 51.5, which is exactly what I want, right? 4 feet is 48 inches, plus 3.5 inches is 51.5. So just hit escape because we don't need that dimension there, okay? And perfect, so now I have my width of my TV stand. And notice that I created components. We are going to be creating components because we're going to be copying things over a lot and often. I'm going to be creating components for every single piece that I draw or that I create in this modeling space here. Okay, and I strongly encourage you do the same. This way you don't need to keep redrawing things. And if you make, because you can just copy and paste them, and if you make a mistake or you need to edit something, it'll edit all the copies that you made because they came from the same component. Okay? All right, so next, I can tell you that I am going to draw a shelf here, as well as a bottom shelf at the very bottom. So that's what I'm going to draw next. And I need to figure out where to draw those. So I'm going to draw my bottom shelf right here. Okay, so the top of it is going to be right parallel with this right there. Okay, so the top of it. So I'm going to draw a shelf there, okay, which will be 2 inches off the ground. So I'm going to come back here, zoom in, and I'm going to use my tape measure tool, which is T on your keyboard or tape measure here. And so I want 2 inches off of this line here. So I'm going to click once, drag up, okay, and type 2. So it draws a construction line for me at 2 inches, okay? And now I will draw my rectangle starting in this corner, okay? So right there. I'm going to draw a rectangle, and I want it to go 15 inches across, okay, by 0.75, okay? Or in this case, you can see in the bottom right corner, I need to put the 0.75 first, okay? I can actually hit enter. It seems like that's exactly the size that I want, but I'll just show you 0.75, comma 15. Perfect, okay? And now we're going to slide that across. So I'm just zooming out and panning over. And I don't need this construction line anymore, so I can hit E on my keyboard and erase. Okay, let's press push-pull. And let's pull this out. Orbit around. Press escape. And push-pull it until you get to this surface. Don't go any further. Don't go any further. Right to this surface. See that pink dot? That's what you want to have. Click to enter that size, and perfect, I've got my bottom shelf. Okay, and so I've decided to place my bottom shelf there, but you can kind of place it in a different spot. I decided to do it 2 inches up from the bottom. And next, what I'll do, again, remember, make everything a component. Triple click, 1, 2, 3, right click, make component, and call it bottom shelf. Okay, let's draw another shelf. I can actually just copy and paste that now because we are going to have another shelf right here. Okay, right there. So this one is going to be 9. It's going to be 9 inches, but subtract the 1.25. So 7.75 from my very top, because I only drew the side panel up to here. So 7.75, that's where I want to do a construction line, and then I'll draw my rectangle underneath the construction line. So let's go back here, tape measure tool, T, click the top line, click, make sure I'm going down. Okay, don't go this way because you're not drawing it on the right plane. Go down, and let's draw it at 7.75. Okay. Oh, looks like my bad. Let's do that again. There you go. Okay. So 7.75, and I want to draw my rectangle underneath, but I don't need to draw the rectangle again. I can actually just make a copy of this component. So press move or M, grab this, but before I click on that, press Alt Option on your MacBook. Okay, drag it up to make a copy, right? That's what Alt Option does. It makes a copy, bam, and snap it to this corner. Zoom in if you have to. Make sure it's exactly where you need it to be. There you have it. There's my second shelf. Erase, hit E on your keyboard and erase that line. Okay, the last things that I'll do for this part of the video, part one, is I'll draw a split down the middle here, as well as a split down the middle here, because if you look at my image, I do need to split this down the middle, and I need to split this down the middle. Okay, so let's do that. It'll be simple enough. So watch what I'm going to do here. So I know that all my shelving panels here are going to be 3/4 of an inch, okay, 0.75. What I'm going to do, how am I going to get it right down the middle? Well, let's problem solve that, right? What I can do is I can draw a line, so press L on your keyboard, or the line tool. Okay. Click, and notice how it snaps to the middle. See how it snaps to the middle? Click, and click. And now I want to draw a 0.75 thick panel there, right? That's right down the middle. So I'm going to hit escape. And what I'm going to do is use my tape measure tool, T, and I'm going to measure. I want half of my panel on this side, and I want half of my panel on that side. So half of 0.75 is 0.375. So I'm going to click here, drag it out, and type 0.375. And then click here, drag it out, and type 0.375. Now look at this. I don't need this line in the middle anymore. Okay? I've used what I needed it for. I can erase, E, gone. And now all I need to do is draw a rectangle, R on your keyboard, connecting this point of intersection to this one. And it's perfectly down the middle. I don't need these construction lines anymore. E, and erase. Let's push-pull this piece right up to the top. So P on your keyboard, and grab it and drag it until you get to this pink dot and let go. Okay? Don't forget, turn it into a component. Press spacebar or switch to your selection tool, triple click. 1, 2, 3, right click, make component, okay? And let's call this middle split shelf. Okay, bottom actually, that's the bottom because there's going to be one on the top as well. Okay, the one on the top, if I were to show you the design again, actually doesn't go all the way here. It actually just goes halfway, roughly halfway. Okay, so what I'm going to do for that is the exact same thing I just did. I'm going to draw a line, L, snap to the midpoint right there. It'll snap, click, draw it straight down, click. Use the tape measure tool, T, and click on the line and then drag out 0.375. Click on the line, drag out 0.375. And I don't need this middle line anymore. E, erase, gone. Now I'm going to draw a rectangle. And I'm going to start on this point of intersection, and I'm not going to bring it out all the way because the split only goes about halfway, but I'll just make it up. I'll just go to about here. That looks good. Erase again, E, my construction lines. Oops. Okay. Next, let's drag this up. Push, pull. Now, how far do you drag it up? Just move your mouse over and line it up with that. You see that? So drag it up. I'm still holding. Move your mouse over until you get that pink dot and let go. Okay? Don't forget, spacebar, triple click. Make component. This is middle, split, shelf, top. Okay, I'm going to stop this video here, okay? I've got kind of like my main structure down for what I want in this TV stand. Now what I'm gonna do in the next video is add all my aesthetic pieces. So basically I'm gonna add this wide piece here, this wide piece on the bottom, this wide piece here, another wide piece here. So this is just my shelving itself. I'm going to add some aesthetic pieces to this to make it look nicer, okay? I'll also add this up here as well as the top part. That will be, and as well as the bottom part right there. So these aesthetic pieces here. I'm going to add those. That'll be my second video. My third video will be the doors, okay? So I'll stop that here, and once you're comfortable, move on to tutorial 2.